Good morning. Good morning, team. Sorry, I'm a little late. Hey, it's the John
Still don't have
Success
chat.
Mastermind. Yeah, we're still working on that whole tech chat thing. Well, while we're resolving that, let's get it going. I'm so glad. Okay, and so glad to see. Can you hear me now?
No.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Okay.
So just a quick housekeeping thing, just to let us know what's happening, what's on the agenda today. Hospitality Suite all day long. Swing by and say hi and drop your news, drop your chat with us. 2 p.m. Eastern time today. Books for Britain with Mandy Anderson, who's following along with us here in our very last chapter of Think and Grow Rich. And then the next book that's coming up will start on Monday with Reverend John Lavenia, and that will be Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You got your copy? I do. And then this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern time, it's yours truly with Networking Magic. So that's done for the housekeeping for the moment. And have we got, yay, we've got chat, leave it to Father Lavenia, the tech beast. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Listen, something I've been thinking about, and I've been hearing and seeing, replays of very, very powerful conversations around charities and around sharing and around being grateful for what we have. Something has been rattling around in my brain along these lines, and some of this may be familiar to some of us that have had this little chat before, we've talked about this before, around 4 little words. If you want to jot down a title for today, a sort of a main topic, 4 big little words, which we will come to. It occurs to me that, and by the way, these 4 big little words, if you say them, if you think them all the time, they can and will make a massive difference in your life and in your business and in your relationships. You'll see. It has occurred to me, it's occurring to me these days that with everything that's going on in the world, with the changes for good and for bad, however you view them, with all of the upheavals and expectations and trepidations and thinking about the past year, what's gone on and what we've all gone through and are going through and what we anticipate to see and to do and experience for 2021. I've been thinking lately that there are a lot of people, not just in my country, the US of A, not just in the UK and the Caymans and Oz and wherever else you might be, just about everywhere in the world, there are bunches and bunches of people who are going to need help on a variety of levels, whether it's personal, financial, physical, health-wise, spiritual, mental, emotional help. People are going to be looking for hope. There are so many factors that are at work, at play in our world today. In my country in particular, and that's the only place where I can speak intelligently, my country and around the world, there are people who may now be feeling less of a sense of hope than perhaps they did yesterday. There are people out here, and I see them every day. So do you, don't you? As you all know, I'm out. And by the way, I am speaking to you from my second office here at Moe's Place in Katy, Texas. There are people who are going to be needing help, who need help now. People who need hope, who need to know, who need to be reassured that they have a future and that their future is going to look good. and that they have a chance to change their future. People feel there are people out here, and maybe some of us on this call are among those who feel stuck, who feel trapped, who feel at the mercy of circumstances. Yes, we talk about being at cause, the idea, the goal, the desire to be at cause in our lives rather than at the effect. And if we're to look deep inside ourselves, you know, way down deep there in that place we don't talk about at parties, it may be that one or two of us here on the call are wondering about our hope for tomorrow, are wondering, really truly wondering what direction our future is going to take, feeling stuck, feeling trapped, wanting to be free of where we are now, wherever that might be, whatever our particular situation may be. And you know people, you've had conversations with people this week, haven't you? People who feel, you know, the old Queen song, I want to break free. Yes, there are such people. I dare say millions in our countries, in our home countries and around the world. And here's where you come in to all of this, where you and I come in. You and I, with what we know about the ability to control our minds. We just got done reading Think and Grow Rich. With the ability to choose our own actions and choose our own responses to circumstances. We are part of a very exclusive club now. It's not the kind of club that kicks people out, but it's the kind of club that not everyone knows about. That is, we people who know that our future is in our own hands and that we can control our own choices. So for those people out there who need help and who need hope and who are looking for freedom from their current circumstances, you and I may be their one candle in the dark, if you like. You might be the friend in need that somebody's truly desperate for this week. You may be someone's last hope. What you have to share, what you have to offer, not just a product, a widget that you're selling, not just a business opportunity that you're sharing with people, but to the very nature of who you are and how you occur in the world. You may very well be someone's last best hope to think that things can be better, that their life can change, that they can change their life. And if they don't hear that message, okay, does this sound semi-serious? Good, because it kind of is. If that person doesn't hear or receive that message of hope from you, they very well may never receive it. So what's that mean? It means that you and I have a responsibility. We got a job to do. What's the job? The job is tied up in what the author Bob Burg, B-U-R-G, the author of The Go-Giver, calls the 5 laws of stratospheric success. We're only going to talk about one today because I've only got about another 5 or 10 minutes. Just going to talk about the first law of stratospheric success. And I'm going to quote from Bob Burg's book, The Go-Giver. I'll tell you exactly what it is. You got your pen and paper handy? Here's the first law. of stratospheric success. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. I'll read it again. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Now, as we've been discussing, and as our dear friend John has so eloquently shared with us on so many occasions, value is a very broad concept, very broad idea, and it takes in more, entails more than just material goods and services. The core of value is to give to each person we come with whom we come in contact the impression of increase. Like as somebody was saying the other day, when people leave a conversation with you, do they feel better about themselves? Do they feel more hopeful about their future? If so, then you have added value to them, to their life. And I love this concept. I always have. That there was something else in this book that I was reading, The Go-Giver, and the secret, the one trade secret of success that Bob Bird talks about. You can wrap it up in one word: giving. You're still wondering about these four big little words, aren't you? Well, here it goes. These four little words are our responsibility to say, no, not those four words. We have a responsibility to say these four words as often as possible on the principle that to whom much is given, from him much shall be required. These four words are our joy to live. Not those four words. They're coming. They really are. They really are. It is our joy to live according to these four words. I'll put it that way. And these four words, here you go. These four words are our only path to true wealth. And the four words are, how can I help? Did you catch that? Is you picking up what I'm putting down? How can I help? So what's this mean? How does this apply? For those of us who are in an e-commerce type of business where we may never have personal face-to-face contact with our clients. Notice I didn't say customers. We may never have face-to-face contact with our clients. With that in mind, though, we can still start every conversation, online, offline, in person, on the phone, even with good friends, people we've known for years. Try this. Next time you're having a conversation with a good friend of yours, a friend of many years, find a place in the conversation to ask this question. How can I help? Ask the person living in your house. Ask your significant other today. How can I help? When's the last time you asked, dudes, listen up. Dudes, Neil, you listening? When's the last time you asked your wife, your girlfriend, the lady in your life, how can I help? Ooh, hard look in the mirror, guys. How can I help? Somebody jumps on and drops a complaint on your Amazon page. You email them immediately. I'm so sorry you're having this problem. How can I help? You're talking with somebody. You've called them up with the intent to share with them, to speak with them about your business, about your entrepreneurship opportunity, whatever it might be. First, take a while and listen. Remember, good leaders ask great questions. Ask questions about themselves, not, hey, you making all the money you want to make? How are you doing? How's the family? How are you keeping? And listen, and ask follow-up questions. Ask too many questions. We've said this before. Ask enough questions to get to the core. And then make it a point to ask this question: how can I help? Ah, nice, Khalid. Man asks his wife, how can I help? She said, who are you and what have you done with my husband? Some wives are going to have this reaction. And good, as well they should. So this is one way. Ask the question. Figure out ways to give way, way more in value to every relationship you have than you take in payment. Sometimes psychic value. Again, the impression of increase, encouragement, cheerleading. Man, I can't even imagine what it's like to be struggling with this, what you're dealing with. I want you to know I believe in you. I want you to know you can call me anytime if you've got a question, if you need something, if it's in my power to do it or to give it, you got it. When's the last time you said that to somebody? Maybe you did today. If so, great. If not, please do it today. Some of you have heard me mention in the past about a concept called Wealth Wednesday. Remember Wealth Wednesday? Here's how it goes. Perform each Wednesday. Now, yes, you can do it on other days of the week too. Perform a random act of kindness for a complete stranger, preferably involving a financial exchange. Why? Well, for one thing, it makes you feel good. And for another, it may be just the thing that person needs, that stranger needs to brighten their day. I have heard stories around this whole Wealth Wednesday practice of people who went on Facebook and said, I was done. I was despairing. I had lost all hope. I was ready to literally go throw myself off a bridge. And then I was in the drive-through line at McDonald's, and somebody, and the lady in the car in front of me paid my bill. And you know what? That little act let me know that there are still good people in the world, that there is still kindness in the world. And you know what? It kind of got me to keep going for one more day. You have no idea whether paying for the cup of Starbucks for the person behind you just might save a life. So do it. Oh, well, gee, I'm kind of short on bucks. Okay, so go to your supermarket, go to the baby aisle, find a can of baby formula, or a box of diapers, take a $1 bill, take a 5-pound note, slip it underneath the lid. It's pretty well known that most new families with, young couples with a new baby, maybe they're struggling a little bit financially. Maybe, still trying to get things together after the birth of the new baby, and you can't imagine what that 5-pound note will do for them. There is simply no way to know, and that's good. Because I believe, as my buddy Ray Higdon, from whom I first heard this concept, I firmly believe that if enough people practice Wealth Wednesday every week, if we have thousands, we'll have tens of thousands. I believe we can literally change the world. We can change the vibration of this planet with Wealth Wednesday. You believe me? You don't believe me? Try it. So, what will you do? Come down to it. First, ask the question all the time. Get to be known as the person who helps everybody. Help. How can I help? Those are the four big little words. How can I help? Charities. We've been talking about this, and thanks so much to Mr. Garner and to everyone else who has recommended wonderful, worthy charitable organizations to whom we can donate. In our particular case, Paula and I are regular supporters here in the United States of the Wounded Warrior Project and of the Gary Sinise Foundation, which is another veterans, military veteran support group, and of the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation, whose goal is to teach every kid in Houston how to read, because we know that reading's the key to education, and education is the key to our children's future. So pick a charity and give them $5. The kid needs that $5 more than you do. Believe me. Help someone to grow their business, and do it not because you have the confidence that you're going to get back more money, more payment, although you probably will. Do it because you enjoy it. You know why I like to help as many people as I can all the time? Because I love it. Because I love seeing the light come on in somebody's eyes when now they see that there's some hope. Or now they see that there's a possible, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. Thanks, Glen. What a higher compliment, huh? I can do this. Thanks, Coral. Thank you so much for your help, Nicola. Now, see, you kind of given me that little spark. I can do. Thank you. Isn't that what you want to hear from people you come in contact with? Don't you want to see that light of hope come back on in somebody's eyes? The key. And yeah, once you are giving and giving and giving and giving way more in value than you take in payment, yeah, now you're asking the question about each action you're about to take or each business strategy you're about to implement. Does this serve? Does this help somebody? Does this help people? Does this give more in value than the purchase price? Way more, not just matching the value, but more in value than any purchase price could possibly justify. Does this serve? And if you're satisfied that the answer is yes, then by all means, go ahead and ask, does this make money? We're still getting ready to make a spectacle of ourselves. Here's the thing though, the way we make a spectacle of ourselves, and I wouldn't dare speak for the Godzilla, but I think I might get agreement from John that our only true path to true wealth is to give and give and give and help and help and help until the universe cannot help but tip the bucket over and pour the abundance back out onto us. So, look for that glint in the eye where somebody's looking for help. Someone needs help. Someone's looking for hope. Someone wants to be set free, needs to be set free. You may be their last hope. Find them. Find that person. Best way to find them is to ask lots of questions. And then ask the four big little words. How can I help? All God's people said. Amen. That's me done talking. Listen, who's got a hand up? Who would like to share a thought? I would love to hear it. Oh my goodness, that was quick, Nicola. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. This is really, really, that was just amazing, Glen. I think you touched, I'm guessing, touched a lot of people's hearts and it just means a lot to a lot of people. And all I wanted to do was just add one thing to that. Can you imagine the world that we could live in if everybody live by those principles every day.
Actually, I can. Thank you.
That to me is the type of world that we want to create when we come out of the situation that we're in. So that was just brilliant, absolutely. And if
Thank you,
we
Nicola.
do that in this group, like we spoke about yesterday in Adrian's talk, the ripple effect of that would be massive. So amazing, thank you.
You are so right. So right. It, can each of us look back in our own life on an experience where we gave and helped, sought to help somebody without any thought of what I might get back? What was that like? Holy moly. Think about that moment and how you felt. If I understand you, if I'm understanding you correctly, Nicola, you're casting a vision for an entire world that has that feeling, where people can give each other that feeling all the time, where we make a habit of giving the impression of increase all the time. Holy moly, what a word.
Why not?
Woo. Thank you, Nicola. That's great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, the Laughing Irishman. How are you doing, Bill?
I'm good, Glen. I really enjoyed that. That's very powerful stuff. Very hit home very clearly. What I would say to people, I mean, I think it's as strange as the silly little things that we do that we take for granted that are actually helping people. And we don't see them as helping someone. And it could be as simple as standing aside at the doorway, and it could make somebody's day because nobody else has done that for them that day. Maybe everybody's walked in front of them or closed the door in front of them or whatever, you know, and it really is true. It doesn't take you to do an awful lot. You don't have to go out there and give your house away or give everything away to change people's lives. It's a simple thing. I mean, and I think one of the best things to do is, as you said there, Glen, is ask. You know, how can I help? I've obviously come across a lot of different people and from a lot of different backgrounds over the years, and some I had to fight with and physically, and some I didn't. But there were times when maybe I did end up arresting somebody for whatever. Doesn't really matter. But you'd get to sit and chat to them, and I would always speak to them and say, "Okay, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You have no need to answer any of them. It's not up for me. I don't have any power to make you answer these. But what they'll do is help me decide what the next move is, and take it from there." And sometimes it took people by surprise. You know, sometimes I would have a simple thing. I would have stopped a guy for speeding in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. in the morning, in a really built up area. And he didn't care who I was, didn't care about anything, didn't give a monkey's about the world. And I says to him, "Okay, give us your license." Give him my license. I says, "I'll be back in 5 minutes, don't move." And I would just go and sit in the car with my colleague. I wouldn't do anything. I'd just sit there and talk and just wait. And 5 minutes maybe went into 10 minutes, and then I'd come back over and I'd sit in the car with him. "So, are you married?" would be the next question. "Yeah." "Well, what's that got to do with anything?" "Well, have you had a ride tonight?" Silence. Then it would be, "Yeah." Is that why you're speeding up here, to take it out on the road and everything else?" "Yeah." So you got to the point of the question or the problem of the offence straight away. At which point I would just turn around and hand them their license to say, "Wise up, slow down, take 10 minutes, breathe, and I'll see you again." And they would be so elated that you hadn't done anything else to them, you know. But it is all about figuring out what's making the person tick and why they've done something. And then that's how you can help people. Thanks, Glen.
Holy moly. Bill, listen, remind me to be pulled over by you next time I'm going 22 miles over the limit.
I'm sorry, Glen, I'm retired now.
Oh, man. Come on, man. And here I thought I was getting over easy. You know, how many times have people been changed by what you just described, Bill? Sounds to me like what people sometimes call a paradigm shift. That is, the person's expecting to be ticketed, arrested, whatever the situation is, and then you come back and say, "You had a fight with a wife today?" What? And it, you know what? Think of maybe we ought to be thinking of the four big little words, "How can I help?" as possibly being someone's paradigm shift for that day. I love it.
I think you're right.
Ooh, words to live by. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. We got Caroline, then Suzanne, and the queen of Italian desserts. Caroline, how are you doing?
Hey, hi Glenn, hi everyone. So yeah, I really enjoyed you first telling us about this Wealth Wednesday, I don't know, some weeks ago. And I was like, right, I'm going to do that. Next time I go to Aldi, which is like a sort of budget supermarket, I shop there every week for an elderly neighbor. So I'm like, right, I'll do that. And then living in this sort of cashless society was like, oh, damn it, I need to get money before I go there. So a few weeks would go by. And then finally I was like, right, I got a £5 note, folded it up. And here it is, still in my pocket. It's still there. And it's been through the wash at least once because I just keep forgetting and it makes me so cross. Every time I put my hand in my pocket, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I forgot again. And I go there once a week. So now, thank you for the reminder. I'm doing the shop for my neighbor, Jeff, tomorrow morning because he's a vulnerable adult. And I will remember to find a nice sneaky place to slide in the £5 note.
You know what?
And that's it.
Caroline, you are not alone. And thank you for putting that intention out. It happens to me all the time. You know what I finally had to do? I finally had to put a calendar reminder in my phone. Wealth Wednesday, all day. And I get the alarm the day before so I can remember to have a $5 or $10 bill. It's the only way I can remember.
Great.
You know, let's hear it for technology, right? But thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody's day is going to be brightened today
Tomorrow.
because you're going to go, oh, wait, that's right. Tomorrow?
No,
tomorrow?
No, because I'm going to the
Today?
supermarket tomorrow. I normally shop on Wednesday, but he was
all
having
right
his
then.
vaccine today. So
Well, all right then. We
Yeah.
can do it every day. You can
I'll
do it
let
on
you
days
know.
other
I'll
than
report
Wednesday.
back tomorrow.
Please. Looking
If
forward
I'm
to
not
that.
on the call, if I'm not on the call tomorrow, it's because I'm too embarrassed. I've forgotten again.
And you can be sure we're going to give you some jive about that too. Suzanne and then Virginia, and that followed by Edward. Suzanne, hello. What say you, ma'am?
Hi. Love the idea, and it isn't something that I actually do, but my little thing that I do or did more of is talk to old people, elderly. Don't say old, politically incorrect. Speaking to elderly people because they don't necessarily need your money, but they just want someone to talk. They need your time. Yeah, so that's my little share. I have elderly neighbours that I haven't been to see for a while because of Corona. I don't really know how their family would feel, but I do pop in for a cup of tea and a chat with them for a couple of hours in the afternoon, and they look forward to it. But yeah, that's also important.
That sounds to me very much like living out the principle. How can I help? Remember, this is also about psychic pay and the impression of increase, psychic increase, emotional help. And yes, I think that old people, I think that the elderly are in many cases some of the very loneliest people in our societies, because people have stopped talking to them. And more importantly, too many people have stopped listening to them. How cool would it be to spend an hour just listening to a person over the age of 80, let's say, or 90, or 100, Just listen to them for an hour and let them share their wisdom with you, share their life experience. Holy moly. Thank you, Suzanne. Great stuff. Oh, I've been looking forward to the Queen of Italian Desserts. Virginia, I've got your book. I'm going to be making some stuff for Christmas. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Hope everyone's doing fine on the call. I'm multitasking here in my pajamas, so I'm not going to turn my video on. I just wanted to comment on doing those random acts of kindness. I have, as a nurse, when I visit some of my clients' homes, I go on the same road, and there's one intersection just a few blocks from my client's home, and I say, you know, I got to stop coming this way because it always costs me about $20 at that intersection because I always get caught at the light, and it's a popular homeless place for here in the Denver area. And you know, in the summertime, you would see moms out there with their kids just in strollers, and it would just pain me. So I'm looking at my wallet. Okay, here's $20. That's what I got. But as I had mentioned a couple of calls ago, I have been practicing what T. Harv Eker said in The Secret of the Millionaire Mind, and putting 10%, not always 10%, but close to 10% away for charity. So that is just kind of there. In fact, I have like about $600 left to spend this year, and I want to just get that allocated to different charities. I respect all religions. And I know that on this call, sometimes we only refer to a Judeo-Christian type of religion, but if there's anyone out there that has, you know, Muslim, Hindu, anything else, Buddha, that they share, I would love to hear those thoughts. But since I do follow the Judeo-Christian religion, and on and off for years. I mean, baptized Catholic, but that didn't mean anything, you know, growing up with nuns and priests and 12 years of parochial school, that didn't really mean much. It wasn't until much later that I actually got to know that, yes, there is a God, and yes, he does listen to me. So while you were talking about this, I had to go look up this verse because it was coming to me, and it's from Luke 6, verse 38. Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give unto your bosom. For with the same measure that you meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. So I like that it's, you know, you're going to get it when you scoop up something, you make sure you shake it, you pat it down, you make sure it's running over, and you've got plenty. And that's just always been my experience. Doesn't matter if I had money or didn't have money. I can't say I always gave, but I did what I could, and it always came back to me 100-fold or more. So it's kind of principles that are out there, and I'm sure that the same principles are shared in many different religions and philosophies that seem to prove true. You know, you do it, you share it, it's going to come back around to you. And,
sounds to me, yeah.
I'd say.
Sounds to me like the first law of stratospheric success from a couple thousand years ago. Give and it shall be given. Matter of fact, give more. Yeah, you'll probably get more. No, you'll definitely get more. Give and give, and give and give. And it's coming back. Thank you, Virginia. Yeah. I'm looking forward to these pinoli cookies, though.
That's me that he said are really good that I actually have never tasted. I need to make them.
Our residential Joycey Italian, Dr. Lavenia, said that they're not good.
They're the real deal. Yeah.
He said that. Got to try it. I dig on some pinoli cookies too. Yes. Yeah. Tito be damned.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Virginia. Thank you. Edward, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Glenn. Thank you so much for this. Hi, everybody. I just thought I should put in a word because as you spoke, Glenn, I felt quite touched. Giving is part of me. I like to give because I feel quite edified. I feel quite enriched when I give. And with my background, I remember the feeling that I got when I received something. You know, it was quite elating, quite enriching. And it would be nice to, just give back, share that experience, help somebody get that experience. And I was thinking as you were talking, you asked a question, when was the last time you helped someone? And I thought it might probably be helpful to look at it on the flip side and say, when was the last time you received help from someone? Because then that will help us value the feeling that somebody genuinely gets when they receive help. And as I thought about that, I reflected on so many years ago. I had went backpacking, ended up in South Africa, and I was heading to a friend's place. And that friend was living in a rural area. And I happened to jump onto a bus, the last bus that didn't get to the place where I was heading for. And when I jumped off the bus, I had to literally walk. It was dark. I didn't know where I was going, but I was walking because I had nowhere to stay. And I think I had to walk 4 miles or so in the dark. But a few miles in, I began hearing ahead where I was going, real loud cries, somebody in agony, somebody, it sounded like somebody was getting tortured, really. I didn't know what to do, but I kept walking. And I tried to stop every vehicle that was passing by, and they just kept going. I began getting very frightened, but I kept walking, praying, really believing I'm going to be able to pass that place. I didn't know how. And then somehow, I think I had even given up on stopping the cars because I knew I was not going to get help. And this car comes and pulls over. And I walk to the car. And the guy asks me in Zulu, probably Evia, you will be able to know what I said. And I didn't know a thing. So I spoke in English and I said, I'm sorry, I can't understand. And he goes, what the heck are you doing out here on this road at this time on your own? And I explained. He said, jump in. Where are you going? So I jumped into the car and he drove. And he took me right to where I was going. And his last word was, you probably won't see me again, but you need to learn to take care of yourself in some of these places. And I never saw him again. The following day, I learned that somebody had been murdered. The person who was shouting was actually getting murdered, was getting killed. So when you said, when was the last time you helped someone? I looked at it the other way. When was the last time somebody helped me? And how did I feel about it? And I think that would be a very good way of understanding the kind of satisfaction, the kind of, I don't know what word to use, but the feeling that you would give to somebody when you helped them. Thank you very much, Glen.
Thank you, Edward. I'm not sure I can recall where it was. I was reading a book recently and saying that part of the magic of giving, part of the power of giving, is bound up in the willingness to receive. So as we can receive help, then we give. Right? Freely you've received, freely give. I bet you will never forget that day, Edward. And you never saw that person again. Virginia was just talking about, everybody's sacred book, and the story you just told me, Edward, reminds me of one of the letters of St. Paul in the Christian Bible, who says, "Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares."
Yeah.
You just don't know. We just don't know who we're going to run across, and we don't know who that person truly is. I could tell stories, and many of us could tell stories about a chance encounter with a stranger, and something wonderful happened, something amazing happened, and that, thank you so much. And wait, who was that person again? It happens. It happens. And perhaps by asking the question, "How can I help?" or "What the heck are you doing out on this road at this time of night?" perhaps you and I can be someone else's angel here on earth. Julia, how are you?
There. Hey, I'm inspired. This is an awesome session. I would also like to mention, on top of what Edward was saying about receiving the kindness of others, someone once told me when I was like, "Oh no, I don't need whatever it was they were offering. Allow me to experience the joy of giving." So by accepting what someone else gives us, even if we don't need it, if it's sincerely offered, we're doing them a blessing as well. That's it.
Oh, I love that. I say to some people, and I'm so glad you said that, Julia. I really, really am, because you've said it just now, and I'll guarantee you Stuart has said this to somebody, and that is, "Oh, no, thanks. No, it's okay." Dude, sometimes you need to just shut the F up and allow someone to experience the joy of giving. Now, here you go. The proper response at this point is, "Thank you." Right? So this is such a fun way to live. Just give. Look for opportunities. We're looking for opportunities to help people all the time. My goodness, how our lives will change. My good friend Coral, how's Oz today, ma'am?
Hi, Glenn. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Julia. That sort of prompted a memory, actually. So when we were kids, and as a child, if you were to offer something to somebody and they said to you, "Oh, no, thank you," my dad used to go, tell us off, because, when a child offers you something and you refuse it, you're teaching them not to give. So it doesn't matter what they offer you, accept it, whether you want it or not, because you're teaching them the joy of giving. So thanks for Julia. That was a good reminder. And I salute everybody else here that's, giving, especially at this time of the year. But I try and do it on a daily basis, all the time. And so for the last few years, my husband has been treated for cancer. And so we have charity shops throughout England. And one of them is the Cancer Research Shop. So I go down there 2 days a week, and I give 6 hours of my time each day. And then the other 2 days, I go and help out with a mental health charity. Now, that doesn't matter what time, what part of the year it is. These type of people, whether you've got cancer, it doesn't go into remission at Christmas time. It's doing its stuff all year round. So they need help. And so I found that by helping at the Cancer Research Shop and at the mental health shop, it makes me feel good, but I'm giving all the time, not just at Christmas or in the winter or when things are really needed. So we don't need to be millionaires to give. Giving of our time, like Suzanne said, just talking to people, and if we could actually get over our prejudices and speak to some of these street people, homeless on the street, sometimes the way they look puts us off. And it reminds me of an experience when my children were little. We went into London and we were coming into the underground station, and this man fell down in front of us. And so we rushed over with the 4 children, and we rushed over to help him. And then I smelt alcohol on him, and I thought, oh, okay, right. So I took the kids away and I said, come on, girls, we're getting on the train. And they said, but Mom, I said, no, leave him. He's fine. We're getting on the train. So we went home, and actually my parents were with us that week, that particular time. And my dad did a little Bible study with them about the Good Samaritan. So, you know how the Good Samaritan and the Jews, they were enemies, but the Samaritan helped the Jewish person who had been beaten up and left on the side of the road, and everybody else was walking past him. But this Samaritan stopped and helped him. Not only did he bind his wounds, but he took him into town and paid for his staying at an inn. And my children said, yes, but Mummy, she left him. She made us walk away. Oh, I felt terrible.
Called out. Oh, no.
Absolutely. So that was the example that I set for my children. So, yes. So when I talk about getting over our prejudices and speaking to people or helping somebody just because they smell of alcohol or they ain't dressed just right or whatever, always remember that somebody else is watching. Some little guy is watching your example, and yours is the example that they're going to remember and tell everybody else about. So that's what I've got to say.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Yeah, be careful. Somebody's always watching. Somebody is always watching, and they're usually 3 feet tall. Yes. There are so many people, and thank you for all that you do, Coral. Angels Unawares. There are so many people. How many people are there in any society who spell love Time? So you're loving on folks all over the place, Coral. Love it. Love it. Virginia's back. What's happening, Virginia?
A quick follow-up on Coral. I used to volunteer a lot. I really haven't volunteered in the last 3 years. But in Florida, in Daytona Beach, world's most famous beach, on the intercoastal, before you actually cross over to the island of the beach, there's this wonderful park where there's Jackie Robinson Stadium, and there's this the library, and a lot of open area right along the waterfront. So the homeless gather there, and they'll gather under this different pavilions. And I went, made a whole bunch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and clothing and stuff. And I went down there and I just, walked around them and said, are you hungry? Would you like a sandwich? And then I was telling my coworkers at work, get arrested for doing that. You can't do that. That's illegal. Like, what are you talking about? And they were right. The police had made it illegal. They had made it illegal to distribute food to the homeless at non-designated and approved sites. So I was just blown away, but I believe the rationale was that would then, the word would get out and there would be, too much homeless people always going to that location expecting something. So then what I started to do is I would take, not food anymore, but I would take like bags of clothing and things and make it very obvious that I had all these bags and then go put them in the restrooms. And they would start walking over, going to the restroom, going through bags. And it was, we all give our stuff away now, to Goodwill, a thrift store or something like that. But then, somebody has to buy it. So this way, I figured they could just go grab socks, underwear, blankets, jackets, whatever was, I was going to give away anyway. So, and sometimes I would actually go to the thrift store on the 50% off days, grab a whole bunch of stuff, and then just go take it down there. So.
Well, there you go. I like it. Well, as far as that local ordinance or whatever it was, what's that old saying? There's legal, and then there's what people do. And what you do there, Virginia, what you were doing, this guy's opinion better than any law. I'm just saying. So it sounds to me like so many of us have so many great ideas and are doing so many things. There's a principle, something like 1%. Can I give 1% more today than I did yesterday? Can I give 1% more money? Can I give 1% more time? Can I listen to someone for 1% longer? What a difference. And then go look back a year from now. And by the way, jot down some little notes, maybe start keeping a journal, and go back and look in a year. A year's worth of 1% every day. Nicola, what a world, huh? What a world this can be. What a world this will be. Unless there's somebody that's got a thought, unless there's a thought burning a hole in the pocket of somebody's mind, I think we have reached the top of the hour, and we're going to roll on. I'm so glad that you've shared this, your kindness with me, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you and the difference that you are making in the world, in your world, on a daily basis. Now let's keep doing it. Listen, let's change the vibration of this planet. You gonna do your Wealth Wednesday today? You do your Wealth Wednesday? Let's go. Hey, this has been the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I'm Glen, and thanks again to our friend, our leader, the Godzilla of personal growth, Mr. John Lavenia, for creating this safe universe for us to fully be who we are and fully support each other. Hey, everybody, have a fabulous, fabulous day. We'll see you for Books for Britain, and then Networking Magic later on. Maybe we'll even see you in the hospitality suite. Live long and prosper. Bye for now.
Bye.